Welcome to Burn the Ship, my friend. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to allocate the time to come here. But this is the podcast where we talk to professionals, for entrepreneurs, so it can help you guys that are watching behind the camera go all in on your business, right? We talk to people that have walked the walk and talked the talk and experience all the things that we experience as small business owners, that we have to go through to make a business successful. So that's kind of our goal here, is to bottle up some of those skills and hopefully teach them to some people that have the same goal. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your business, my friend?
Thank you for having me first. My name is Cindi Dowdle, and my company is Atlanta AdGraphics, and we are located in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and we are a graphic design and printing company.
Nice. Tell me a story. I want to know how you guys kind of got started, how you got into that industry. I know we talked about it a little bit on the phone before you got here, and I think it's very interesting.
So I can't take credit for myself. My mom and dad started the business way back in the 70s, and I think it was more a leap of faith. My dad had been doing sales for a company called School Calendar Company. So they would go to small colleges and universities and they would sell calendars. And he was on the road a lot. I'm sure my mom wasn't loving that. And I'm pretty sure she just wanted him to have something a little more stable, to be home more, 2 kids at home, that kind of thing. So they started, they did a lot more promotional items back in the 70s, and then it evolved to printing. My dad has always had a flair for photography and design. He worked for Ritz Camera way back in the day up in the
Nice.
Washington, D.C. area back in the 60s. So he's got some pretty cool, or had some pretty cool stories from there. But yeah, they started it on pretty much a shoestring budget and a whole lot of prayers in a very small town in North Carolina, and struggled for a lot of years. You know, whenever I was growing up, it was definitely lean times. But when I started high school, my dad had partnered with a gentleman who was based in Hendersonville, North Carolina. He owned a car dealership, and Dad worked really hard on an ad to impress this guy for the newspaper, because he was convinced this guy is throwing so much money away and not getting a return on his investment. And went over there, impressed the heck out of the guy. And shortly after that, the guy said, "What would it take to get you to move over here? Like, we've got a bigger market. We could do this so much bigger." And they did, and it grew crazy. And eventually we followed him to the Atlanta area.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are you guys doing a lot of now?
So,
Is it still promotional items? You guys doing apparel, or what
I've
is
done a
the...
lot. I don't do a lot of apparel. Apparel is a very niche market.
For sure.
It takes a lot of time whenever you're going to quote some apparel. There's a lot of homework that goes into it. So we do some promotional items, but pretty much anything you can print your name on, from business cards to letterheads, envelopes, carbonless forms, presentation folders, all the goodies that go in the presentation folders,
sure.
brochures, that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. And so you're working with a lot of what type of clients?
So real estate agents, those in the service industry, roofers, plumbers, electricians, the mortgage industry, pretty much anybody who's going to be out interacting with customers, especially, they're going to need those forms.
Leaving anything with them or anything like that?
Yeah.
Where do you get them? Where do they come from?
So a lot of it is printed right in my shop.
I mean the customers.
Oh, the customers.
Yeah, how do you find the people that pay you?
A lot of it is word of mouth referral. Nice. My sister is my co-owner. When our parents retired, they gave the company to us equally. But she belongs to a networking group. I belong to a networking group. So we make a lot of contacts there weekly. And our website seems to generate a lot of new business.
Oh, nice. That's
good. So we get people from all over the country. I can ship to pretty much anywhere.
Nice. Yeah, that is, promotional products is a very strange business. You know, the brochure industry is a very strange industry as well, because when you look at the statistics, I mean, I think people interact with a promotional product like 7 to 9 times before it's disposed of. You know, it's
really a good estimate.
Valid marketing material. You know what I mean? So it is no, it's definitely a thing. And I know every single industry is different. You know, our industry is very, very different. We don't leave a lot of stuff behind. We don't print a lot of stuff. A lot of that stuff's in the relationship side of things, and it kind of has to go on the fly, because credit card processing is a fluid thing. You know what I mean? So yeah. Tell me a little bit about your networking group.
So the networking group I belong to is called Gwinnett Business Network, and we have about 28 members currently, ranging anywhere from myself in the printing industry to a web design company to a personal injury attorney. We've got the home services field covered with realtor, mortgage, roofing, electric.
It's
plumbing.
one seat per industry.
Correct. It's a
Right.
closed networking group, and
Cool.
we meet weekly.
Nice. And then your sister's in something similar, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Yeah, another closed seat type
Correct.
of operation. Is it what house does it live under? Oh, I think you told me you guys used to be like a power core group or something like that. Or,
It started out way back in the day under a BNI
Oh,
chapter.
BNI? Okay, cool.
And
everybody's been around so long.
they left the organization long before I
Right.
jumped on board, but
Yeah.
it's a pretty solid. We have members who have been there 15, 16 years.
Yeah, but they've made a ton of money.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's really cool because we do a lot of similar stuff. Ezra, this is actually Ezra's like 15th day here. And
This is my 15th, actually.
yeah, and then like he's done some networking, he's done some cold calling, he's done some cold calling, he's done a little bit of everything to get people to ask you questions that you don't know the answer to. I think that's kind of how you get used to our industry, but the networking aspect is really, really cool. You get to build relationships over a long period of time that completely changes the dexterity of your network as well as the bottom line. A lot of times people are doing a lot of business with you. So yeah, that's really, really cool. I'm a subscriber to that similar notion. Where are you located? Where do you live?
Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Oh, Lawrenceville.
So,
Cool.
Across the metro area.
So you're not very far from that Gwinnett side of things. You're a little bit of South
we're in
Gwinnett.
Gwinnett.
Yeah. Where do you have to travel? Are you networking in Lawrenceville?
Actually, no, Swanee.
Oh, nice.
So just one town over.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you know Roderick Ricks by chance?
The name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
I think it would sound familiar no matter what. He's our sales manager. Is that Roderick's title? Sales manager? Sales director.
Much fancier.
Sales director. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he is responsible for all like the new training for all the sales reps and everything like that, as well as maintaining his own book of business, payment integration stuff. But I was just curious because he's networked on that side of town a lot more than me. I went.
Right now.
Is he?
Right now.
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
I went to UGA, so I've been like through Lawrenceville and Monroe and all of those things, all the way out to Athens. But I haven't spent a ton of time there. There are a lot of people there. I mean, I know there's a ton of people in Gwinnett, but
And it's growing. Oh,
Really?
my word. The
yeah, you
building
guys
that's
have like
going on.
500 high schools, right?
I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know anything about the school system.
I think you guys have like 40 high schools or something insane.
As many as I pass anywhere I go, that's probably a safe bet.
Yeah, it's insane. Just moving around out there is insane, to be honest. It's a cool place though.
It's a ton of building going
When
on.
I drove there to go to college, it sucked because 316 was like, it was almost like it was day one of like, we really got to do something about 316. So I experienced all the work all that time. And now you drive there and it's really, really easy to get around.
When I went to UGA, you still had to go Atlanta Highway.
Yeah.
316. That
Yeah.
was where it ended.
Yeah.
So I will date myself with that.
No, yeah. Hey, go dogs though. All right.
Absolutely.
I think that transcends time.
I'm excited. Just 8 more days.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Oh, Ezra here's an Alabama fan.
I'm sorry.
All right, tell me this. Like at the beginning of your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has that thing that they're really, really good at that kind of helps them be successful, right? And maybe it's a couple of things, and I'd imagine that there's probably some dividing and conquering amongst you and your sister as far as what skills you need to make it happen. What skills would you say was most important day one for you guys to have to kind of push the ball down the hill at the beginning?
Patience and learning from our mistakes.
For sure.
There's a lot of take a step forward, take 2 steps back, and learning whenever you fall down and you get back up and, all right, let's try something different. I feel like maybe we're a little different because Mom and Dad had taken a lot of those steps long before we knew anything about what that entailed. So it's made our transition into taking over the company and running it much easier.
Right.
Although my sister and I joke, how much money were those 2 little old people making with that company to support their lifestyle?
Right.
And then 2008, the wheels kind of fell off the financial cart. And
Yeah, especially on the real estate side.
Yes. And the economy, gas prices, housing prices drive so much of the economy in this world or in this country.
Yeah, it's doing it right now.
Absolutely. And it's tough, but we managed to survive that. We somehow have managed so far to survive this pandemic mess that's wreaked additional havoc.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, long after the pandemic, we're still feeling the waves, I think.
absolutely. I think it's been great for companies who are strictly online. It's hurt mom and pop, local brick
People
and
that
mortar.
rely on that interaction.
Absolutely, because it's easy to order something online. I mean, I order from Amazon. I'm just like everybody else.
Right.
But I think what people don't understand is you should at least be open to a quote, a comparison, because I will regularly check some of those big places online just to see, because I want to make sure that our pricing and our quality and our service is comparable. We're competitive. And I checked literally just this week on brochures because somebody told me my price was high and I questioned that. And I went to the big place that starts with a V that I don't love. And if you go with their longest production time, I'm still $5 cheaper on 1,000 brochures. And you get the added bonus of not having to try to design it yourself or choose a template that a million other people could have. You get a professionally, uniquely custom designed brochure that's included in my price for printing it. And if you upgrade your shipping to match the production time of mine, you're going to spend almost $50 more.
Right.
So I don't think people understand just because it's convenient doesn't mean it's necessarily a good value.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was at a buddy of mine's business yesterday. He owns a tire shop and he owns a detail shop. And he's got a sign that I love behind his desk. And it says, work can be good, fast, and cheap, but you only get to pick 2 out of 3.
Correct.
Yeah, you can get it. If it's fast and cheap, it's not going to be good.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have experienced that over the last year. I mean, people try to commoditize your industry especially. You know what I mean? Like I can think of 20 products right now that I won't mention that are like, design it yourself. It's so easy. We'll print it for you. We'll send it to you in the mail. Like if you keep signing up with new email addresses, we'll keep sending you business cards. Like I've seen all of those things, and I've seen people struggle time and time again with what the actual end product looks like. You know what I mean? I've seen that before. If you're not a graphic designer, you should not be on Canva graphically designing.
There are a lot of things people don't understand that have to be in place for it to print correctly.
Right.
And I always try to educate people that what you do is what makes you money. That's what you're good at.
For sure.
And why should you spend an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours designing something
When that whole world
when
is
you could
foreign
turn
to
it over
you.
to me? All you need to give me is content. That's all I need. Give me a direction. We'll have a little chit chat conversation. Figure out who your targeted market is, how we need to market this, how we need to build it so it drives people to the important things that you want to get across. And people will design a brochure and give it to us to print. And it's so verbiage heavy. And in today's world, people are inherently lazy. They're not going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to give them like those punches, those bullet points, and explain just a little bit. Make them hungry for more information, and then they'll come to you. They'll go to your website. They'll reach out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that you don't know those things unless you have some marketing experience.
Well, I can
you know?
share. This is a good story. I had a lady whose business was styling. She would take somebody, she would style them professionally to present themselves in the business world. She came to us. She wanted some of our $1 million bills. She wanted them customized with her information, which can be used in a lot of sense, like a business card. And then she wanted us to print her business cards also. She wanted her photo on it. I think that's great because if that's what you do, that picture is going to speak far more than a lot of words. And the picture she sent me to use, not professional.
Mm-hmm.
She
Selfie,
literally was,
yeah.
she literally was wearing like a French maid's outfit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that is not going to give you the business
Yeah.
you're looking for. And it's a tactful conversation you have to figure out
For
how
sure.
to have with somebody.
Yeah.
And I
This
just
looks like
started,
marketing for a stripper. You probably don't want to do it.
correct. And I started asking her questions. How do you style somebody for this kind of job? And she would explain it. And I said, well, how would you style yourself to get the business you want? And she explained it. I said, then we need a different picture that reflects that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that I bridge the gap. I know that I bridge the gap of an unpleasant or an uncomfortable conversation so that she wouldn't make a horrible mistake. But had she gone online, they're not going to care. They'll print whatever you upload. And it doesn't matter to them if it markets your business well.
And a human's never even going to see it.
Correct.
Or touch it. It's going to have no human interaction.
Yeah.
It's going to go into a program and out of a printer and into a box.
Correct.
It's going to come straight to you, whatever you sent.
And that's a service. You don't have to pay extra for my 29 years of experience in that business plus growing up in it.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. For sure. You just shouldn't have to manipulate your prices when someone else's value is much lower.
I don't. As I've gotten older, I've learned that I can't cater to that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a lot of people who will come to me after the fact that they've found it somewhere else cheaper. 9 times out of 10, they found a different product at a less expensive price. It's not even the same. And there's mistakes and they want me to fix it and I can't.
Right.
1, it's not my place to fix it.
Yeah.
And 2, no.
It's printed.
And then I've already spent all this money. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes you want to be really arrogant and say, well, if you'd chosen me, we could have avoided all that mess.
Yeah.
That never would have happened. And I will say we stand behind ourselves. We're humans. Occasionally we will make a mistake. And sometimes we get lucky and we catch it before a customer even knows. And we explain what happened. We're making it right. It's going to cause a couple of days delay. People are thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get it and I made a mistake, I will make it right every single time. Now, you can't fib and say that you wanted something different. There have been times I have been gracious enough whenever a customer has made a mistake, and I will give a discount to try to offset that reprint cost. But that's something you're also not going to find with a big box store or an online place because all they care about is the money. That's
For sure.
it.
For sure. What would you say has been, on that note, like what would you say has been most difficult with kind of taking over the business and continuing to help it grow? Because I know the commoditization of my industry has kind of changed the way that we do business, but it hasn't inherently slowed us down because we still offer a different value, and I would assume that it's very, very similar to you. So what do you think has been difficult as far as, from day one to now? Like what do you think that you've spent the most time kind of navigating?
I think it's combating that mentality of the internet giving everybody something instantly,
right?
Where they can get something so fast, and getting people to see value in what you bring to the table. It's just, if you were going to hire somebody to excavate and level your yard, there's equipment, there's insurance, there's education on how to run that equipment. There's all these things that you don't take into consideration. Sure, you could go and you could rent all that equipment and you could spend your time figuring out how to work it and do it yourself. And at the end of the day, you'd probably have spent less using somebody. That's what they do in the beginning.
Right. Yeah, no, that's for sure. Because you don't have to pay extra for the years of experience, but you end up paying for not taking advantage of the years of experience. That's for sure. It becomes a difficult thing, and it becomes a difficult thing as a business owner too. Listen, if you're behind the screen right now and you've experienced that before and you still go back and forth about it, I hear you, because dollars are important. They're important for us. Cash flow is important within your business, and having that at the front of your mind makes a difference in how you run your business at the end of the day. But I promise you, it's like buying the cheaper product where you spend more money in the long run because you buy it again and again and again. Right. If you don't get the thing that you're looking for up front, you're going to end up spending more money in the long term. It just happens that way. So
there have been times I will steer somebody away from something that they just have in their head they have to have. And I know I can produce the same quality or even better for less money.
Right.
And it's getting people to trust you. Sometimes it's hard. But that, again, is something experience, having almost 30 years in this business, has taught me. There are different options. You don't always have to be pigeonholed. Sometimes you'll get graphic designers who've never had any experience in the printing industry. So they design things that look cool, but they're not practical for print.
Right.
And they will tell a customer that they have to have a certain type of paper. It has to have it's called a PMS ink. So it's a one color ink. And we can have different printing processes that will give you the same result for half the price.
For sure.
And that's something that we try to educate people on. I want you to spend your money wisely. I want you to get the best return on your investment. I don't want you to spend unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And that's always been our goal.
Yeah, 100%. Well, tell me this. The way that we kind of always end the podcast off is a ode to our name here, right? So, burn the ship to us, like Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortez lands in Central America, and like step one of landing on the beach is taking all the supplies off the boat and then disassembling all of their ships and burning them, right? And so, I think the goal of that was a couple of things, right? Was to show that he was in control and he was still making the decisions even though they're far away from home. But most importantly, that you have to figure it out where you're at or we're going to die. Like the stakes literally could not be higher in this exact moment. And so my question to you is, like, in the phrase of business, look at it through that same lens, right? Everybody has this moment where they flip the light switch for whatever reason. That you're going all in on your business, and it seems a little different for you because your parents had already kind of paved the way and experienced some of those things in that industry. But what does it feel like to go all in on your business? What does it feel like for that to be the thing that you have to make work and you have to figure out, or else, you're going to be taking a step back in life?
It's scary more times than not. If you work for a larger company and you're just an employee, you can walk away from the stress and the problems at work and go home and just forget about it until you show up the next day. And that's not true with a business owner. It's always with you, the good and the bad. And I think whenever you find a way to clear the hurdles, it's such a win. And just the fact that we have survived some of the hardest times that people today can remember, financially and economically, it says that we're doing the right thing. It doesn't always feel like it, and it's definitely never easy. But I think some of those hard decisions we make we've scaled back our employees and we've scaled back our equipment and things like that. We've tried to streamline things and just decisions that can propel us forward and keep us afloat in the lean times.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's probably I think it's all those years that we've seen the ups and downs, even though we didn't have to navigate them by ourselves, that has showed us we'll be okay.
Right.
We're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be okay.
You build up some sense of resilience.
Very much.
Yeah, you're very small business resilient.
Yeah. And they say that it's falling down is not the failure. It's the failing to get back up that's the failure. So we're always going to get back up. We're always going to be there. We're always going to keep trying different things, new things to help our customers.
For sure. Well, tell people, just in case there's anyone in the audience that wants to do some business with you, how they find you.
So we are online at Atlanta AdGraphics.com, and the ad is just AD for advertising. That's the easiest way to find us. If they want to give us a call, it's 770-497-9460. We're old school. An owner's going to pick up that phone and have a conversation.
Yeah. Well, look, I look forward to supporting you.
I appreciate that.
I think that what you do is really, really cool. I think that, combining our industries and having to be able to speak that B2B language, as also knowing how that business is going to interact with their customer is a difficult thing. And you have to balance a lot of that, especially in the advertising world, because not only do you have to make stuff that people want and is visually appealing, but you have to make stuff that works. And we're the same way, Some people want sleek, some people want functionality, some people want effortless. It's just different. You have to be able to walk and talk a lot of different languages to be able to do that. So I think what you're doing is really, really cool. Like I said, I look forward to supporting you guys. If there's anything that we can do for you, please let me know.
Thanks.
But this has been Burn the Ship. I'll edit this over the next couple of weeks, and we'll get it out there in the world.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, no problem, my friend.
You.
Thank you. All right, Burn the Ship.
Burn the ship.